There we go. All right. Fantastic. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have our fabulous speaker here with us today, Zack King from Eli Lilly and Company. And before I hand it over to you, Zack, to run the show, I just have a few housekeeping items for everyone. If you've attended a session previously, I apologize. They're always the same. First and foremost, the session will be recorded. You can find all of our recordings on our WGU Career Services YouTube channel, or it'll be made available to you afterwards. I'll send it out to everyone here as well. Also, we will have time for Q&A at the end of the session. You are welcome to add those questions in the chat. Feel free to use that chat or use that raise hand feature, and I'll call on you kind of in order. That way, but we will have some time. And then I do have a survey link that I want to share with everyone at the end of the session. It is like 2 questions. It takes a minute. So please look for that and take that afterwards. And let's see. Oh, and then if everyone can just make sure that they're muted throughout the session, it just helps with the noise issues and making sure that we can hear our speaker. And I think with all of that said, Zack, I'm going to turn it over to you to do your intro and tell us a little bit more about Eli Lilly and tech recruiting and how we can really stand apart, especially I think as we've seen in the news that this market is getting tougher and tougher. And so, any advice and tips you can share with us today?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Zack King. If you guys can't tell, I am not from Indiana. I'm from the great state of Kentucky. I'm a Wildcat, but I won't hold that against you guys. Please don't hold it against me, the cross-state rivalry. I have been at Lilly as a campus recruiter and now on the experience team, all supporting tech. I also work on veteran and military recruiting. That's kind of my side gig, so to speak. But I'm going to give you guys a quick overview. I don't know how much or how little you all know about Lilly. I'm going to give you a quick corporate overview. I'm not going to bore you to death, maybe 10, 12 minutes. And then I'll give you some tips and tricks and we can do some Q&A. So give me just a second. I'm actually gonna turn my camera off and I'm gonna share my screen. That way you guys aren't staring at me while the slide deck is going. So bear with me just a second. Let me see if I can get this going. And is that it?
Looks
Good deal.
good. Looks
Awesome.
good.
Very good. Well, we can jump into it. I am going to read this. I typically don't read slides. I'm going to read this, our purpose and our values. It's that we unite caring with discovery to create medicines that make life better for people around the world. And we do that with our 3 values of integrity, excellence, and respect for people. And I read that for a couple reasons. One of those is I don't know what this makes you guys think or feel when you see or read this, if it makes you think or feel anything at all. I can tell you honestly that before I got to Lilly, whenever I would see something like this coming from corporate America, my first thought was, sounds nice, looks good to put up in writing, but there's no substance behind it. It's window dressing. It just I have no doubt that it does not mean anything. I can tell you without a doubt that I could not be more wrong, at least when it comes to Lilly. The people at Lilly live this and they believe this, and they come to work every single day with this at the forefront of their mind. So this really does mean something at Lilly. This is one of the things I'm proud of for being able to work at Lilly is this right here. Historically speaking, the slide needs to be updated, but we have been around for about 149 years now. We hit 150 years next year, which is pretty impressive, I think. We were founded in May of 1876 by Civil War Colonel Eli Lilly. And he started the company because during that time, medicines were considered snake oils. You didn't know what was in them. You didn't know if they were going to work, and you really didn't know if they were going to cause more harm than good. So he wanted to create medicines that people could rely on and that they knew that they would work. And then in doing that, he wanted to recruit the best people and to develop new products and make the customers happy. Since the early 1900s, we have been a leader in diabetes research. That's kind of where we made our mark, so to speak. Um, we did not obviously invent insulin, but we found a way how to mass produce it and make it commercially available back in the early 1900s. Um, Before insulin became available, having diabetes was a death sentence. We really didn't know how to treat people with diabetes in the early 1900s. One thing that they would often do is they would literally starve people. They would not let people with diabetes eat because they really didn't know what else to do. And you can see the picture on the left is a child suffering from diabetes, and then the same child on the right after about 2 months of taking insulin. So you can see how much of a life-saving medicine that insulin really is for people with diabetes. A few facts about us around the world. We are headquartered in Indianapolis. We are closing in on about 50,000 employees worldwide, and we have about 10,000 employees engaged in research and development. We have manufacturing plants located in 9 countries, and we have products marketed in over 100 countries. This is just a quick snapshot of where our main locations are around the country. Again, headquartered in Indianapolis. We have 2 new manufacturing facilities going in Lebanon, if you haven't seen the news. We also have manufacturing facilities in Durham and Concord, North Carolina, Branchburg, New Jersey, and then we have tech centers in San Diego and then Boston, Massachusetts. And again, if you've seen any news lately, we have recently announced 4 new manufacturing facilities. Although the locations haven't been announced, we are going to start on those fairly soon. And with those new facilities comes a demand for jobs. I like to just show this briefly. This really does give a good picture of our global presence. I think this one kind of speaks for itself. These are the business areas that we work in: oncology, diabetes, immunology, neuroscience, and then our international business unit. This is a snapshot of some of the medicines that we have released in the last 10 plus years. Again, the slide deck needs to be updated for this year. Donanemab was released in 2024. We changed the name, and I always forget what it is. So you'll have to forgive me on that one. But this is just a quick view of what we have done in the last 10 plus years. This is a, a snapshot of what we do in research and development. We have one of the, if not the best, um, medicines pipeline in the industry. And we have that because we invest over $9 billion a year in research and development, and almost a quarter of our total workforce is involved in research and development. And that's not happenstance. That is intentional from Lilly, and that is specifically why we have the pipeline that we do today. Oh, let me go back. So this is a snapshot of our employee research source groups at Lilly. We have 11 of them. This is a way for you to get involved with other employees at Lilly who are like you and with employees who are different from you. You don't necessarily have to identify with any particular group to be involved. For instance, I could join Women's Initiative for Leading at Lilly. It's just a way for you to meet employees that are like you and people that are not like you, and to get involved. We also have, I couldn't tell you how many clubs. We have clubs at Lilly. We have a club for almost everything. We have workout clubs, running clubs. I think we have a kite flying club. We have book clubs, gardening clubs, just about anything you can think of, board game clubs. If there's a club that we don't have, I believe it's if you can just get two other employees to join, you can make your own club of anything that you want to do. And then I'm just going to show this quickly. This is just like a 3-minute video. It showcases some of our many amenities at Lilly. And I believe you should be able to, if for some reason you can't hear the volume, please let me know.
Welcome to the Eli Lilly and Company headquarters located in Indianapolis, Indiana. At Lilly, we're driven to uncover the next great discovery, the scientific advancement that will lead to a new medicine or the technology that will help us make medicine faster. As we begin to explore the many amenities of the Lilly Corporate Center, we start in the main lobby. Lilly employs more than 38,000 employees worldwide with one shared purpose: to make life better for people around the world. To fulfill our purpose, we need the best people to solve the world's toughest health challenges. We work every day to build a diverse, equitable, and inclusive culture where everyone is valued and heard. We take the health of our colleagues seriously, so we provide easy access to medical services and other care through our Employee Health Services Office, where employees can visit our on-site physician, dentist, and optometrist. Looking to spruce up your desk with Lilly merchandise or update your closet with Lilly gear? You're in luck. The Lilly Marketplace offers Lilly branded merch for all of your Lilly needs, as well as snacks, drinks, and personal necessities. We even have our own on-site banking services through the Elements Financial Credit Union, where employees can complete all of their banking needs anytime they're at the corporate center. Just a few steps down the hall is the Lilly IT Help Desk, IT On Point. Bring your Lilly computer, phone, or tablet to find friendly, hands-on assistance for all of your technology needs. We're all about collaboration at Lilly, and we keep that in mind when designing spaces where employees can feel free to meet and hang out with their colleagues. The Lilly Lounge provides an assortment of games, including shuffleboard. Perhaps you want to relax and watch a sporting event or even catch up on the latest news between meetings. Our lounge provides high-definition flat-screen TVs where you can do just that. Need a midday pick-me-up? Gather some colleagues and socialize over a gourmet cup of coffee from one of the many coffee shops we offer. There are several cafeteria and food service options around the corporate center featuring local vendors, cuisine specialties, and grab-and-go food choices. Reveille features daily specials and serves wine and beer after 4 p.m. As we head outside, you'll notice a walking track surrounding our private turf field. On a nice day, this track is busy with Lilly colleagues conducting business while getting in their steps instead of sitting in a conference room. Our on-site fitness facility, called the Life Center, has fully equipped locker rooms, a cycling studio, several group fitness rooms, and a variety of fitness and strength equipment. The perfect place to meet your Lilly teammates for a workout or attend a training class. The story of Lilly is much more than the Lilly Corporate Center. The story includes many benefit programs and services available to employees, such as career development, volunteer opportunities, and on-site childcare facilities, just to name a few. Most importantly, it is the story of the thousands of people working tirelessly to bring life-changing medicines to those who need them. So as we conclude our time together, here's a question for you. Can you imagine yourself as part of Team Lilly, helping to make life better for people around the world? We hope to see you soon.
Okay, is my screen sharing off?
It is. Yep.
Good deal. So that is just a little bit about Lilly, and I will say that our corporate headquarters is pretty crazy. It amazes me every time I'm in it. It is more like a college campus than what you would think about a corporate headquarters. It is a great place to work. Um, so we can jump in. Or what am I doing? Am I still sharing?
No, nope. I would
Okay.
just see you on the screen.
Okay, good deal. I'm moving my screen around and I had some stuff jumping, so I wasn't sure. Um, so I'm going to jump into some talking about some resume stuff, and I'm going to preface that by saying I'm by no means an expert. I'm not, don't take this as gospel. I'm one person giving you a little bit uh, of what I see that works at Lilly. Um, what is successful that people do. So again, if somebody tells you something different that you like better, please go with that. Don't yell at me or throw anything at me. I'm just giving you my experience of what I see that works at Lilly when people are successful in getting jobs. Um, First thing I would say is uh, read the job description. Um, you don't know how many resumes that I review that it's obvious that the person applied did not read the job description. It from their resume, what's on it, it's not any close. When you're looking at the job description, there's a couple things I really want you to pay attention to. One is the basic requirements. Make sure that you read those basic requirements and that you meet those basic requirements. If you don't meet the basic requirements, then don't apply. I mean, honestly, you're, I hate to say you're wasting your time, but um, if you don't meet the basic requirements, you're not going to be considered for the position. As a federal contractor, we have certain rules and laws that we have to adhere to. When we post a position, the basic requirements generally cannot be changed. So when you look at those, if you don't meet them, one of the biggest is how many years of experience in a particular area. If you don't have those years of experience, then you're not going to be considered past the initial resume screen by the recruiter. If it says 10 years experience in whatever area, um, if you have 8 years of experience or 8.5 or 9 or 9.5, you're just not going to get past that first screen. So make sure that you look at the basic requirements and that you meet those. After you look at the basic requirements, for us, on our job description, it used to be called the additional preferences section. Now it's called what you should bring. That is our additional preferences section. Um, Look at that, and from that section, you can see what a hire manager really wants to see beyond the basic requirements. Those are the nice to have things that a hire manager wants to see. When you look at all that, if you meet the basic requirements um, and you check some of the boxes on the additional preferences, that's an area you don't have to meet everything in, but at least be able to check the box on some of those. Um, then go ahead and apply. For your resume, no need to have an objective statement. I don't see a lot of those these days. Occasionally, I will run across a resume that has an objective statement, but you really don't need that. Uh, but what is nice to have uh, is an executive summary. At the top of that resume, have your executive summary list out there, make it easy for the recruiter, spell out how you meet the basic requirements in that executive summary. That way, recruiter doesn't have to guess and hunt and search through the resume. Now, I will say, if you put something in the executive summary, make sure it is also in the work history of your resume. I have seen quite a few resumes. Well, they'll list something in their executive summary, but then they don't have it in their work history. So then it's like, well, do they really have that experience or don't they? Um, so make sure it's, truthful. As far as a format, just whatever kind of format that you want to use. Nothing really stands out. Just make sure um, it's clear and it's easy to read and that it flows well. Um, and then save it as a PDF. Um, kind of the layout I like to see. And again, this is my preference. Um, I like to see the executive summary at the top, um, then followed by your technical proficiencies, your tech stacks, what you have experience in tech-wise, and then under that maybe education, or you can put education at the very end, but then go into work history in reverse chronological order. So your most current job first, and then work backwards. And then if you don't put that education past those technical proficiencies, put it at the end. Um, if you are an early career professional and you don't have a lot of work experience, it's okay to put uh, class projects that you work on your resume, or even any passion projects that you work on outside of class or outside of work. Um, it will not, that kind of stuff will not count towards job experience, but it will show a passion for tech, and it will show initiative, and it will also give you a chance to showcase some other skills that you might have, that you don't have direct experience in through your work. So put that stuff in there. Um, that that brings me to another point: internships. Internships do not count as full-time job experience. So if you have a 6-month internship at somewhere, um, and you're 6 months short on uh, your experience, um, from what the basic requirements of the job requires, that internship is not going to count. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Um, when you apply to a position, matters, unfortunately. Again, um, because of federal requirements, um, and some compliance things, we review resumes in the order that they are received. So unfortunately, sometimes when you apply matters just as much as what is on your resume. Um, if we have a job that we post and it gets 200 applicants in the first 2 days, we're going to unpost that pretty quick. Or even 100 applicants in the first 2 days, we're going to take that down and unpost it, because we're going to have plenty of applicants on there. If we get through all 100 applicants and we don't find any candidates from that, then we will repost it. But just as an example, so if a role is posted, we get over 100 applicants in the first 2 days, it's going to come down. The recruiter is going to start reviewing those resumes in the order that they are received. Let's say the recruiter gets through the first 50. From that first 50, maybe the recruiter sends 15 to 20 to the hire manager to review. From that 15 to 20, the hire manager may select 10 to phone screen. From that 10, that hire manager may take 3 to 4 to interview. And from that 3 to 4, you know, somebody's probably going to get hired. You could have been the 51st person that applied, and you could have been a better fit and a stronger candidate than the person who was ultimately hired, but your resume never got reviewed simply because of when you applied. Um, so a great thing to do is sign up for job alerts on our website. That way you will get notified as soon as a job is posted that meets your requirements. Um, and that way you can go on and you can apply as soon as possible. When it hits the website, like I said, look at the job description, tailor your resume to that job, and then apply. Few other tips. keywords from the job description, include those in your resume, and even maybe bold those to make it easy for the for the recruiter to see on the resume. If a hire manager is looking for Python or Java or React or Kafka, whatever's in the job description, those technologies are going to be listed out. Bold those on your resume so the recruiter can see those, especially if it's in the basic requirements, because whatever is in the basic requirements is going to be the first screen that we're going to look at to see if that person moves on to the next step or not. Um, and then I want to kind of move on into how our process works. I talked about briefly. So resumes come in, they are reviewed in the order that they're received. And I, I expect to get this question, so I'll kind of answer it now. As things currently stand, AI does not review any resumes for us. Um, if a resume is reviewed, a recruiter is putting their eyes on every single resume. So nobody's getting filtered out or screened out by AI. Um, so resumes are reviewed in the order that they're received. If they meet the minimum requirements, those resumes are passed on to the hire manager. The hire manager will screen the resumes. Sometimes the hire manager will decide they'll take a group of those people to interview, or sometimes the hire manager may decide to phone screen candidates. Um, the hire manager may conduct the phone screen themselves, or they may have somebody from their team to conduct the phone screen. Um, and that's really to make sure that somebody is technically strong enough to be a fit um, for the position. Um, and if I haven't, or the recruiter hasn't screened ahead of time, they're also going to make sure that somebody's open to relocation, and that they're okay to work on site. Um, and then if somebody passes that, then they'll be taken to the interview. Our interview is behavior-based interview style. So it's tell me about a time when, tell me about a time at work when everything went wrong. Like, what did you do to work through it? And the interviewers are looking for answers in the STAR format, situation, task, action, and then results. Like you're just telling a story. Like what was the situation, the task, what did you do, and then what was the result? Um, After that, we'll go to a wrap up, and then the interview team will sit around. We'll discuss the candidates. We'll see who's technically strong enough and who has the motivational fit to be at Lilly. Motivational fit is big at Lilly. Why do you want to be there? It's not just I need a job, or I want a job, or I'm willing to do anything. That's not motivational fit. At the beginning of the corporate overview, when I talked about our purpose and our values, that's our motivational fit. Um, why do you want to be at Lilly? What do you want to do to help people? Uh, so that is also a big piece uh, of the interview process. Um, the other thing I would suggest is um, following all three tech recruiters on LinkedIn. Myself, and I'll give you the names of the other two before we jump off, but we all three post all of our positions online. So they're all going to are on LinkedIn. So they're all going to hit LinkedIn as well as the website. So if you're following all three recruiters, you're going to know when those positions um, are posted because we'll make a post on LinkedIn about it. But again, that's just a few tricks, nothing um, mind altering, I don't think. The big takeaway, read the job description, make sure you meet the minimum requirements. Most people don't meet the minimum requirements. That is the number one reason why people um, don't ever make it past the resume review, because they just don't read the requirements, or they think that they're close enough and that they can. I have seen some guidance on LinkedIn from other influencers, if you will, that talk about if you're close enough, if you're close to the requirements on a position, go ahead and apply. And that's not a that's not always true guidance. That might work in some industries. It doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for a federal contractor. We have to follow some labor laws. So don't get sucked into that guidance. It's not. It doesn't work for everybody in every circumstance. So what questions does
Yeah, we've got questions in the chat. I just want to say that all was fantastic. And I know there were some questions, but I will say the timing, we see that across all industries and a lot of the conversations that our team has with recruiters like Zach. And so yeah, applying early definitely makes a difference. Let's see, there were just questions when you talked about interviewing, how many rounds typically at Lilly? Let's say including the phone screen at most. And what would you say is excessive when it comes, like if you've seen any number of excessive rounds out there?
um yeah, yeah, I just thought of something else I want to mention too. But so you'll have a phone screen, and then one or two rounds of interviews, typically is what you'll have. Some A few will be phone screen and then one round of interview. Most of them are going to be a phone screen and then two separate interview sessions with anywhere from 2 to 4 people total, not per interview. It's usually 2-on-1, two interviewers and one candidate. Sometimes it's 1-on-1, but it's typically not more than 2-on-1. Um, Occasionally, when we go to a wrap up, the interview team will have two candidates that they can't make a decision on because they're neck and neck, so to speak. Um, in that instance, I have seen hiring managers add one more round. That way they can try to see which candidate is going to step forward. But typically, phone interview or phone screen and then 2 rounds. And then at Lilly, we typically try to also have I left this out, so maybe 3. Um, we typically try to have an intake call with the recruiter as well. We'll talk about benefits. We'll double check any kind of sponsorship or work authorization. Um, we'll talk about relocation, stuff like that.
Great. Um, and I would say that's pretty good and pretty standard 3 to 4 rounds. I think if you're going
Yeah,
beyond that,
yeah. And I will also, I'll be the first one to admit we don't always move super fast in our interview process. So it could be like from the time somebody has a phone screen with a hiring manager, it could be 2 weeks before they have their first interview. Um, we are not known for our speed of interviews.
that is good to know. Perfect. And then let's see here. Okay, um, let me just go back to some of the resume questions just because
Yeah.
we covered that topic. And then I do see your new questions coming in. Don't worry, guys.
And
Let's see.
let me say
Yeah,
this briefly while I'm thinking
yeah.
about it. The length of the resume. I'm going to pick on SAP for a second. I hope nobody in here is SAP. SAP is pretty bad about 15-page resumes, and that's just ridiculous. Like 2 to 3 pages is completely acceptable. I wouldn't go much past 3. 15. I've seen 20+ page resumes. Please don't do that. It's just, I carry 40 recs. The other recruiters are pretty close to the same. I said earlier that we're putting eyes on every single resume that comes in. To be efficient, I can't go through 15 pages. Um, the other thing I'll say, it's my job to help managers put people in seats to do work. The first thing that I'm doing when I screen resumes, I'm looking for easy ways to disqualify somebody, to get them off the rec. Um, I need to hire people. Um, I have a lot of recs. I look at a lot of resumes. So I'm looking for ways to get somebody off a rec. That way I can focus on the strong resumes to get in front of higher managers. Um, so you need to do the things, make sure you meet the minimum requirements, have a nice formatted resume. That way that your resume is getting a good long hard look.
Yes, perfect. And that actually answered one of the questions. So on page amounts. Let's see here. There was another question around certifications. Where did that one go? Um, uh, hold on. Sorry, I just lost it. Okay, maybe I'll find it again. Oh, here we go. Would certifications work as well in a project section?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely. Certifications, and you put any certifications you have, you can put those with projects, you can put them with your tech stacks and that section, just wherever makes sense. Just make sure, it looks nice and it flows well and it's easy to read.
and then the same for boot camps. Would you put those in
Yeah,
the education section? Okay, or tech.
yeah,
Okay,
yep.
fantastic.
Yeah, and that's the
Um,
other thing I'll say quickly. Basic requirements. Um, it, it's it's not going to apply to you guys. If well, maybe there's some people on here that haven't graduated yet, but if the basic requirement is a college degree, then it's a college degree. Occasionally, depending on the position, we will drop that down to high school diploma. It'll be um, it'll give the option of a college degree or a high school diploma and so many years of experience in whatever area. So again, that just kind of goes back to looking at those basic requirements.
Absolutely. All right. And then there were two questions around sort of entry level tech jobs that don't require a lot of years of experience. Do you see those coming in, and kind of what should folks look for to make sure that they're finding those or seeing those? Um,
Yeah, so I guess it depends on how many years of experience. So because even our entry level, they're generally gonna require 2+ years of experience
mhm,
on the very low end. It really won't go past 2 years. Or it won't go under 2 years.
mhm. And what's some good uh what's some good experience that you would say for those, especially current students that haven't graduated yet, as they're kind of looking to build their resume? What is some good experience that you would say definitely seek out these types of roles while you're still in school to build that resume?
Yeah, internships for sure. Even though I said internships don't count for full-time work experience, get the internships. The internships are going to help you get the full-time roles. And it's really so Lilly is big, big. We have over 3,500 people in our tech department. Um, so it's really what you want to focus on, what you have a passion in, and what you're strong in. Get those internships. Um, get a job doing what you want to do, even if it's a less desirable job, so you can get the experience and then you can build those tech skills. That way you can make that next step.
Mhm. Perfect. And then there was another question here. There are many companies that are no longer creating remote jobs. Kind of what is Lily's stance on sort of remote?
Yeah, so we are, so I think I mentioned earlier, I have about 40 recs right now. I have one of those that is remote. So it's not, it's not something that we are doing a lot of right now. And I used to say a couple years ago, I would tell people like, hey, even if you see a position that's not remote, if you are not in a position where you're able to move, um, I would still say go through the interview process. If you get through, the resume review and phone screen, and let's say you make it to the interview, the hiring manager loves you. Um, Occasionally the hiring manager would say, okay, for this candidate, for this position, I would be willing to consider remote work. Um, my opinion on that has changed recently. We're just hire managers are just not, if they're posting it on site, they're not willing to change that.
No, that is
I,
good to know.
I will say that we do have a hybrid work environment. So 3 days from the office and then the ability to work 2 days from home.
And then another question here, do you disqualify if an applicant used AI to assist with their resume or if you suspect it?
No, absolutely not. I would say, yeah, like if use AI to help lay out your resume. Just make sure that what the AI spits out after you use it is factually accurate, and that it represents your experience. So no, we don't disqualify anybody that uses AI on a resume.
Just double check that AI, make sure it's
Make
not
sure.
making things up when you're
Yep.
putting things, especially ChatGPT, be careful.
Yep.
And we do have some resources, which I know I threw in the chat on creating resumes, especially how to use AI with creating your resume. So let's see here. Oh, if relocation is required, does Lilly help with relocation costs?
Yes, we have a very nice relocation package. We will relocate you for most positions. So in tech, there are I can't think of any positions in tech where we would not pay for relocation. There are some positions around Lilly where we don't relocate, but everything in tech we would relocate you, and it's a really nice relocation package.
It's fantastic. All right, let's see here. I'm going to come back to the culture question. One here, IT apprenticeships programs. So the student went through a phone screening. Is that different than an entry-level position?
Yeah. So are they talking about the Skills First program?
I'm not sure. It just said I was recently contacted and did a phone screening for the IT apprenticeship program, Chris. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So that is different. So that um, Skills First program is specifically for people that do not yet have a 4-year degree. So it's an alternative pathway into Lilly. Um, what that is a fixed duration employee. We bring you in, we train you, we upskill you, you work, you get paid just like a normal employee. And if you're successful in that program, we transition the people in that apprenticeship program to full-time employees at the end. That program, we will not pay for relocation for that program. That's technically outside of uh, you would be working in tech, but you're not being hired in directly as a full-time employee for that position. We will not pay any relocation.
Good to know. But still a great, fantastic opportunity, it sounds like. And we're seeing a lot more of those apprenticeship programs pop up. Let's see here. There was a great question on how is the culture around career advancement within the company?
Yeah, so Lilly is great about career advancement. Excuse me. One of the things that supervisors are evaluated on is their ability to advance their employees' careers. Um, Lilly is a place where your supervisor is going to come to you, um, and they're going to ask you what you want to do next, where you see yourself going, and then they're going to do what they can to help you get there. Um, Lilly also offers $10,000 in education assistance each year. Um, and that is not something you can pay up front and Lilly will reimburse you, but Lilly will pay up front. You don't even have to come out of your pocket for it. Um, the only caveat to that is that you have to get your hiring manager's approval to use that. So it's just got to be job related. So as long as you're not wanting to go take a class in underwater basket weaving, it's typically approved.
Fantastic. So if anyone is looking to continue
Yeah.
continue their education, uh, awesome. All right, the next I'm gonna kind of group two questions here together because they're both kind of related to this experience bucket. Um, What sort of advice would you have for folks who are currently working, but maybe it's not necessarily a job related to tech, especially like the student has been laid off and so they've been working, just not in a tech job. Is that something that they would add on their resume? Um, what's kind of your advice in terms of that experience?
Yeah, I would keep it on there. I mean,
Mhm.
you can, yeah, I would put it on there if it's not tech related. Um, I I say try to keep your for tech at Lilly. Um, Try to keep your resume as technical as possible. But if you have some non-tech related work experience, yeah, it's okay to put on there, and it's as long as it's something that you can easily explain, that would be fine.
hmm And with those, I always say, highlight those soft skills, right? Any sort of teamwork, collaboration, customer service, right?
Yep,
Communication skills.
yep, absolutely.
Um, and then that second question, second part, sort of with this experience, this question is around certifications. Would you count those as experience ever? Like I know some companies will replace, they'll say you have a bachelor's degree or 2 years of experience or a high school diploma and 5 years of experience. Does Lilly do that at all, or is it really just hone in on those basic requirements?
Yeah, it's just the basic requirements. We won't use those certifications as any kind of, we won't use that in place of work experience.
Perfect. I hope that answers that. Let's see here. Um, someone said they wanted to be an underwater basket weaver. I love that. Okay, let's see here. Let me just go through and see if I've missed anything. Feel free to keep thinking of those. Oh, you know what? There was another question here around as a federal contractor and meeting some of those security clearances. And I think the other part to that is how do you get through some of those clearances if you maybe need sponsorship? So I don't know if you can talk both to the clearances and maybe sponsorship.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So even though we're a federal contractor, you do not need any kind of security clearance to work at Lilly. So that's not an issue. Some people, I told you I do veteran and military recruiting as well. A lot of those people do have security clearances. Um, Not to be harsh, but that doesn't help because you don't need that at Lilly. So don't worry about any kind of security clearance. The sponsorship piece, yes, in tech, we do sponsor for most positions. As long as the job description does not say, the verbiage is qualified applicants must be authorized to work in the U.S. We will not offer sponsorship, and I will give a couple of examples for this position. As long as it does not say that, we will sponsor for the role. And most of the positions at Tech do sponsor, as long as your degree, it needs to be a technical degree in order for us to be able to offer that sponsorship.
Perfect. All right, I hope that answered your question. I was sort of paraphrasing there. Let's see here. Just going through and making sure I haven't missed anything. Uh, right. I think so far, I think I got all of the questions. So yay.
Cool. I'm gonna
Uh,
see if I can paste Carrie's and Sophie's.
and I added your link in there already. So
Okay,
I got
cool.
I got that one to save time.
See, there's Carrie. I'll get Sophie's. Those are the other two tech recruiters. That's their LinkedIn. So please follow them as well. And I'm
And I
also
will
going to
say, oh,
go ahead.
sorry. I will say following folks on LinkedIn is a great way to stay connected, even if they don't accept your request right away. Because I mean, as you heard with Zach, right, like these recruiters are inundated with many, many, I'm assuming, messages and connection requests and all of the things. So just following them and then applying right away, right, when you see that, when you see an opening of interest is fantastic.
Yeah, the other thing that following the recruiter is going to do is that we always tag the hiring manager in the LinkedIn
Mm.
post. So that's going to give you access to the hiring manager as well.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, now how often those hiring managers get on LinkedIn, I don't know. Everybody's going to be different. Um, but the hiring managers will typically they'll repost that as well, so they can, it's their role. They want to fill it, so they'll repost it so they can get traction on it. So um, you can try to reach out to the hiring manager as well.
And I just following up on that, in terms of referrals, does Lilly do referrals? Like if you can connect with someone internally or you have a connection?
Yeah, we do. So that is the way around the first in, first out approach. If you know somebody at Lilly and they'll put you in as a referral, it's kind of the first thing we do when we go in and start looking at candidates. We go look through referrals. We'll look at them first, and then we'll go through and look at everybody else.
Perfect. So that's another good tip, right? Remember to keep networking. Awesome. Any other last questions? I know we're kind of getting here towards the end of the hour. Any other last questions you guys have?
And I did put one other thing in the chat. It's a link to the How We Hire page on our website. It's got a ton of information on there. Um, it's fairly new. I think that's been up 6 or 8 months. Um, but that link, it if you read that and you go into an interview process, you will be completely prepared.
Fantastic. We love those resources. I also put in the survey link in earlier. I did also include just some career and professional development resources that we have here at WGU that you have access to, including Big Interview, which I know I didn't talk about, but that is a fantastic way to practice those behavioral interview questions and the STAR method if you're not familiar with it, or if you're getting to the interview stage but aren't getting any offers. That's a good way to kind of go in and maybe start practicing some of those interviewing skills there. Well, perfect. I don't see any other questions in the chat. So
And,
yeah,
yeah, one other
no,
tip
go for it. Go for
that I want to give.
it.
The biggest, I meant to say this earlier and I forgot. The biggest piece of feedback that I hear during wrap-up sessions is that candidates talk too long and that they ramble. They don't ever actually answer the question. Um, so if you're answering the question, like if you've got a quick answer, but you answer what they're looking for, then don't ramble. Just cut it off. Answer the question, get to the end, and then stop. Don't feel like you have to keep going.
And that is a skill. That is 100% something you can learn to do. So check out those resources. And I just want to say thank you so much for your time, Zach. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly you have lots and lots of things to do. But thank you so much for sharing your insights and your perspectives. And I think also learning more about Lilly. I mean, I know I've been familiar with Lilly for a while now. I'm in Michigan, not too far. And I still learn something new every day. And so I really do appreciate that. So thank you so much for joining us here today. And thank you everyone too on the call. Really appreciate your questions and your engagement. And then don't forget to take that survey and you will be hearing from me with the recording and with all of the resources that were shared today as well. So stay tuned for that. And thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording.
Yeah, hope you all got something out of the information.